Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming out and sharing your Friday evening with the Riverside Township radio players. Can't believe it's already our last show of this season. And tonight we're going to start off with our mystery selection, which is Casey, Crime Photographer. That show ran on CBS from 1943 to 1956. And Casey was the brainchild of writer George Harmon Cox, and he appeared in print, in the pulp fiction magazine Black Mask, in novels and comic books, in addition to being a very well-liked radio show. Casey was played by Matt Crowley, Stotts Cosworth, and also Jim Backus. And Casey had a sidekick, Ann Williams, the reporter, who was played by Jan Miner. And later on in her career, she was famous as Madge, the manicurist from the Palmolive dishwashing liquid commercials. Casey appeared in movies and also briefly on television from 1951 to 52, where Richard Carlisle and also Darren McGavin played the role. So without further ado, let's join Casey and Ann as they unravel the baffling case of the Red Raincoat.
Well, Casey, how you coming along with that crossword puzzle?
I'm stuck, Ethelbert, for a 7-letter name beginning with H, and it's a place in Ohio.
That's a tough one, Casey.
Not for me, boys, not for me.
Hiya, Tony.
Hiya, Tony.
Hiya, fellas. Yes, sir, the word you're looking for is Hocking. Hocking, the Hocking Valley.
Hey, that fits. Hey, I get it. Anchor hockey.
You said it, Casey. Anchor Hocking, the world's largest makers of household glass. Crime Photographer, brought to you by the Fire King Oven Glass, Anchor Glass Containers, Anchor Cap Enclosures, all are products of Anchor Hocking, a great name in glass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Tony Marvin. Every week at this time, the Anchor Hocking Glass Corporation brings you another adventure of Casey, crime photographer, ace cameraman who covers the crime news of a great city. Written by Alonzo Dean Cole, our adventure for tonight: The Red Raincoat.
Night, about 9:30. Rain, hard, pelting rain that has driven people indoors and left the streets deserted. At the corner, a bus stops. A woman alights from it. She wears a red hooded raincoat that covers her head and most of her face. She turns into a side street, lined with cheap walk-up apartment houses. Midway in the block, she's about to pass the entrance to an alley when, from its darkness, there's a gunshot. And another, and another. The woman falls. On the street, brakes are hastily applied to a speeding taxi as it comes to a skidding halt. The driver...
Police! 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 Hey, copper!
I'm coming. I heard those shots. Where?
From that alley, I think. I didn't see no one.
This dame got it in the back. 3 bullet holes. Stay right here, fella. Don't let anybody touch her. I'm gonna look in the alley. Get back, you people. Get back. This isn't a free show. There's been a murder here.
Push her back, Cletty. I need room to shoot a picture.
I'm doing the best I can, Casey. Move back, you folks. Move.
That's better. There's one for page 1 and,
That'll be all, Casey.
well, look who finally got here. My old pal Logan.
How often do I have to tell you that no press pictures are to be taken at the scene of a homicide until after the police photographers are through?
I got a rotten memory, haven't I, chum?
By rights, I ought to take that camera away from you.
Now you wouldn't do that to me. Not with all these people looking on.
Why, nuts. You cops, push these mobs back. Clear back. Clear the blocks so we have room to move around. Sergeant,
Yes, Captain.
tell me what happened here.
I can tell you that, Logan.
Huh?
The cab driver, that little guy over there, heard 3 shots fired from the alley. Hearing the girl saw this girl in a red raincoat fold up on the sidewalk.
Yeah?
A uniformed cop, this guy right here, heard the shots too and searched the alley and found nothing. Well, all the rest is up to you.
What does the doc's report show, Sergeant?
Oh, he said that the woman was killed instantly, Captain. One of those bullet holes is just in line with the heart. Of course, you can't be sure it followed that line through her body until she's turned over.
Oh, don't do that until my tech men get through.
No, sir.
Anyone find out who the woman is?
Not yet, sir. When we can go through her pockets, well, we'll probably find something that'll help us.
Ann Williams is circulating through the crowd, Logan, trying to locate someone who might know. Say, here she comes now.
Hello, Captain.
Hello, Miss Williams.
This lady thinks she recognizes the dead woman.
Well, that's swell, Annie. If you can identify her, lady, your picture will be in the paper.
Say, I happen to be in charge here.
Oh, excuse me, Logan.
Who do you think the dead woman is, lady?
Well, as I was just telling this young paperwoman officer, I can't be sure, because the poor thing is lying on her face. But I'm almost positive it's the body of Nora Gellhorn, because she's had a red raincoat exactly like that. She's the only woman in this neighborhood who would wear anything so flashy. And I've got a notion that a certain person wanted her out of the way.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
Well, her husband, officer, had been carrying on something disgraceful with another woman. Mrs. Gellhorn told me that herself. And she wasn't the sort to let a man go just because he happened to fall in love with somebody else. So I think...
That her husband shot her?
Oh, I know it's an awful thing to say, mister, but from the goings-on, I've heard about it. I think he's been planning to put her out of the way for a long time. As I was saying to my oldest daughter, Eloise, only last night, I was telling her that...
Where do these Gellhorns live?
Over there in the corner building on the side of the street, number 371, apartment C. I live in the apartment house next door. I'm Mrs. Patch, Mrs. Ida Patch. I said to my oldest daughter only last night, I wish that you would...
Excuse me, Mrs. Patch. Who's the other woman in this case? The one you say Gellhorn's been carrying on with?
Oh, her name's Randall. Emma Randall. She and her husband live in the same building as the Gellhorns. Their apartment's directly across from mine.
Wait a minute. This Emma Randall has a husband?
Yeah, poor man. Hey, you know, he stands in the way of Gellhorn's plans, too. So if you policemen don't act fast and put that murderer behind bars, you'll just have to wait until you can...
We'll act fast, Mrs. Patch, if a check shows through that your story is okay.
Oh, you'll find it's true, all right. I'm not the only person in this block who's been expecting anything like this to happen, you know.
Oh, Captain Logan.
Yes, Sergeant?
The photographer and tech men are finished. You can examine the body now.
Come on, Mrs. Patch. I want you to make your identification positive.
Oh, I hate to look at the poor thing. Oh, well, Captain, I know my duty.
Will you turn the body over, Doctor, so we can see the face? Thanks.
She wasn't a bad-looking gal, huh, Annie?
Nope, kind of pretty.
Oh.
What's the matter, Mrs. Patch?
Why, that isn't Nora Gellhorn.
It isn't.
No, that's Emma Randall.
The woman you said Gellhorn was in love with?
Yeah, but that's Nora Gellhorn's raincoat. I'm sure of it now that I see it close.
Well, since Mrs. Gellhorn isn't inside of it, you'll have to revise your theory. I guess you don't think Gellhorn would shoot the woman he was in love with.
No, No, he was crazy about Mrs. Randall. He wouldn't shoot her.
Too bad, Logan. For a few minutes, it looks as though you had a sweet suspect in a case that was half sewed up.
Well, still might be that way. Mrs. Patch, what kind of a guy is Randall, this dead woman's husband?
Well, he's a nice, quiet kind of man.
Quiet kind, huh? Did he know about his wife and Gellhorn?
Oh, he must have. Everybody knew.
He sounds like the answer, Casey. This guy Randall stood all he could, then waited for his wife tonight and paid her off.
James Randall wouldn't do that. He couldn't have done it.
I'm afraid that's something you can't be sure of, lady.
But I am sure. Mr. Randall hasn't been outside of his apartment since early this evening. He was inside it when I heard shooting down here on the street.
How do you know he was inside?
Well, his living room is just across the court from mine. One of the shades was up a few inches, and I saw him over there lying on the couch.
You saw him?
Well, just by accident, of course. I never spy on my neighbors.
Sure. Well, that's that, Logan.
Yeah.
But there's another possible angle.
What?
That red raincoat. Mistaken identity.
Gellhorn may have thought he was shooting his wife.
That's it, Annie.
Yeah. Hey, wait a minute, Mrs. Patch. You sure this is Mrs. Gellhorn's raincoat?
Oh, I'm positive. I recognize it by those peculiar buttons and that little mended place right on the right shoulder.
Well, have you any idea why Mrs. Randall would have been wearing it?
Well, I suppose Nora Gellhorn lent it to her.
Weren't they enemies?
Well, not outwardly. Like most jealous women, they made believe they were friends. Would have made things kind of difficult if they didn't, seeing as they not only lived in the same house, but worked at the same restaurant.
Worked in the same restaurant?
Yeah. Harley's Grill. They were both waitresses there.
Do you know if Mrs. Gellhorn and her husband were at home now?
No, I don't. Their windows aren't on my side of the house.
That's too bad.
Let's find out for ourselves, Logan.
We will. Casey, we will. Sergeant, take charge here.
Yes, sir.
Have Martin take Mrs. Patch down to the headquarters and get a complete deposition from her.
Oh, I'd much rather go with you, Captain.
You and the captain can get together later, Mrs. Patch. But I'll shoot that picture of you now.
For the paper, Mr. Casey?
Uh-huh, the best paper in town.
Oh, goodness, I look just a fright in this old coat. On account of the rain, I didn't get to see where anything...
Fine clothes on you would only gild the lily.
Oh, Mr. Casey.
Yeah, now stand just as you are. Hold that bewitching smile. That does it.
You want to take another?
If he does, he's staying here without me. Come on, Miss Williams.
I'll take more shots of you later, Mrs. Patch. Coming, Logan.
With prices mounting everywhere, here's a fact that's worth noting. Right now, on the shelves and counters of your favorite chain, variety, hardware, and department stores, you will find a wide variety of pale blue Fire King oven glass dishes at prices far lower than you would have paid for any baking dish a few years ago. And each piece of Fire King oven glass, regardless of price, is guaranteed for 2 years against oven breakage. Now is a good time to replace your worn-out kitchen utensils with new and beautiful, easy-to-clean and easy-to-keep clean Fire King oven glass. Remember that Fire King oven glass is not only a sturdy, dependable friend in the kitchen, it is also an adornment to your table. Fire King oven glass is a product of Anchor Hocking. Fire King, a great name in glass.
Try to pull yourself together, Mr. Randall. I'm sorry we had to bring you such rotten news.
My wife? Dad?
Tough fella.
Please let me go to her. I've got to see her.
No, not now.
Later, pal.
But she's lying down in the street, you say, in the rain.
They would have taken her away by now, Mr. Randall. You can go to her when you get a little more used to the idea of what you'll have to see.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe that will be better. Who killed her, Captain? Who shot my wife?
Oh, we hope you'll be able to help us find that out.
I don't know. I can't help you.
Before we came to you, we stopped at the Gellhorn's apartment. Nobody was home.
Why did you stop there?
We wanted to meet Mr. Gellhorn especially. He's a friend of yours?
He's a neighbor.
I see.
You've been talking to people, Captain. Someone's been telling you things.
Well, frankly, yes. Randall, do you think...
No! Ferris Gellhorn would be the last man who'd kill my wife.
That wasn't a question I meant to ask you. You think he's the sort that'd kill his own wife?
I don't know.
Now, when you let us in here, Mr. Randall, you said you'd been asleep.
Yeah, I was tired when I came home from work, and I laid down on the couch there.
What time was that?
It was about 6:30, Mr. Casey. I slept until your knock at the door woke me up.
There was plenty of daylight when you fell asleep, around 6:30, Mr. Randall. Why'd you turn the electric lights on, then?
The lights?
Yes, we saw a crack of light under the door before we knocked and woke you up.
Well, you see, when my wife was working late, Mr. Casey, I always turned the light on for her if I was going out or going to sleep. You see, she hated to come home to a dark apartment.
Would you keep your big mouth shut, Casey, and let me handle this?
It was a question you wanted answered, wasn't it, Logan?
I'd have asked a question, and I'll check on the answer. Now you attend to your job and let me attend to mine.
Okay, I'll take some pictures.
No!
No? The Morning Express readers will want to know what the dead woman's apartment looks like. That'll be a good shot of this living room. Now I'll get one of the bedroom.
Mr. Randall, you must try to pull yourself together. You just must.
Yeah, I'll do my best, Miss Williams.
How long have you been married, Randall?
8 years.
When did you and your wife meet the Gellhorns?
About 2 years ago, Captain.
What sort of a fellow is Gellhorn?
I hate the guy's insides. He's a lousy wolf and a double-crosser. But if you suspect him of her murder, I know you're wrong. He wanted her to live. He didn't want her dead.
This man sounds like a square shooter, Captain.
Yeah, he does, Miss Williams.
Check me out on that, too.
So you're back again, Casey.
I didn't want to miss anything.
Who's there?
Coletti, Captain.
Come in.
We found Mrs. Gellhorn.
Oh, is this?
I'm Nora Gellhorn, Captain. This officer came to the restaurant to get me. He told me why.
Sit down, Mrs. Gellhorn. I've got to ask you some questions.
Just a minute, please. Jim?
Yeah, Nora?
You know I didn't like your wife. I had plenty of reasons not to, but I'm very sorry for you.
Thank you.
Now, Captain, what did you want to know?
Well, first, Mrs. Gellhorn, did you find Mrs. Randall the raincoat? Did you lend Mrs. Randall the raincoat she wore tonight?
Well, yes, I did. It was pouring when she got through work, and she didn't even have an umbrella with her. And I was working late tonight in another girl's place, and I figured the rain would stop at the time I finished up. So I said, take my coat.
And you remained at the restaurant after Mrs. Randall left there, Mrs. Gellhorn?
Yes, I did.
I checked, and Mrs. Gellhorn was in the restaurant when Mrs. Randall was shot, Captain.
Okay, Coletti.
Mrs. Gellhorn,
Yes?
you said you worked late tonight in another girl's place.
That's right.
Do you usually come home at the same time as Mrs. Randall?
I usually.
Did your husband expect you at the usual time tonight?
I guess so. Well, I didn't bother to tell him. Well, he doesn't care when I come home or if I come home.
That looks like the payoff, Casey.
Yeah.
Do you know where your husband is tonight, Mrs. Gellhorn?
He told me he was going to the movies.
What theater?
I don't know. You might find him at any of the neighborhood theaters. Well, except the 4th Avenue. He went there last night to see Lost Holiday.
We'll pick him up. Sergeant Flanagan's posted guards at the theaters around here, Captain. And that Mrs. Patch gave us a first-class description of Gellhorn.
So Mrs. Patch is the one who's been telling you cops things.
She told us nothing that you and Mr. Randall haven't verified, Mrs. Gellhorn.
Oh, all right then. My husband has been two-timing both me and Jim Randall here. But if you got an idea that he killed Emma, you're wrong.
I told him that, Nora.
Well, Mrs. Gellhorn, do you think he would have liked you out of the way and Randall here so he and Mrs. Randall would be free to get married?
Well, sure he would have liked that, but I know that he wouldn't have done anything like that. It's just...
Come in.
We've got Gellhorn, sir.
I'm all ready for him, Sergeant.
He's downstairs. You want him brought up here?
Yeah. Wait a minute. He hasn't been told anything.
No, not a word, sir.
Where'd you get him?
Coming out of the 4th Avenue Theater.
4th Avenue?
You said he's seen the show there, Mrs. Gellhorn.
Why, I thought he had. Last night, I can't understand what he would be doing there.
I can. Go into that bedroom, Mrs. Gellhorn.
Into that bedroom?
Just for a few minutes. Close the door and don't come out until I call you.
Well, all right,
then
but
come out quick.
All right, but I don't understand. I don't see why you would want me to do this.
Okay, Sergeant, have the Gellhorns brought in.
Yes, sir. The captain will see him up here, Pete. Come on.
The old surprise treatment for Gellhorn, Logan, huh?
Yeah. His reaction when he sees his wife alive is all I need now.
Certainly looks as though you might...
Everything fits. Even the theater where they picked him up. He'd seen the picture there, so he could describe every part of it that was showing while he waited in that alley.
He went there after the shooting to establish an alibi.
Sure.
Here he is, Captain.
Bring him in.
Hey, you don't have to shove.
I'm Captain Logan, Gellhorn.
So you're the force behind these monkeys that have been putting the muscle on me. What's the big idea?
We're simply doing a little investigating, Mr. Gellhorn.
Investigating what? And why here? Randall, what's your part in this? Why have I been brought to this apartment?
I'll explain, Gellhorn, if you need an explanation after... Lady, come out of that bedroom. You, in the bedroom, come out.
Nora.
You think you're looking at a ghost, Gellhorn?
Whoa, what's my wife doing here?
She's the last person you expected to see, isn't she? You thought she was dead.
Why,
This will wipe that phony look of innocence off your face. The woman who wore your wife's red raincoat tonight was Emma Randall.
Huh?
She's dead.
She's dead?
Yes, Gellhorn, with 3 bullets in her back that you put there.
Oh, I got it now, Captain. He mistook her for me in my raincoat.
He killed my wife. Let me at him. I'll tear him apart.
Hold it. Take it easy.
Hey, wait a minute.
What's this all about?
You know, Gellhorn. I'm arresting you on a charge of murder.
Me? Murder?
Get a shot of that, too.
All right, boys. Let's get them back to headquarters.
Yeah, you can't do this to me. You don't know what you're doing.
Well, come on, Casey. This case is all sewed up. Let's get our stuff into the paper.
Okay, Annie, but I wonder
What?
if this case is sewed up right.
After what you and Miss Williams have told me, Casey, I can't see any doubt about that fellow Gellhorn's guiltiness.
There isn't any doubt, Ethelbert, except in Casey's much too active imagination.
Ah, Annie, you closed your mind like Logan.
Oh,
You two have so completely sold yourselves on Gellhorn's guilt before you saw him that nothing could unsell you. It didn't mean a thing to you, for instance, when Logan's big surprise act laid an egg.
oh, that.
Gellhorn didn't act as if he were looking at a ghost when his wife stepped out of that bedroom.
Well, so what? He probably got a flash of Emma Randall's face after he shot her, realized the big mistake he made, and was all prepared.
Well, that's possible, yeah. You know, Mrs. Gellhorn took longer than she should have to come out of that bedroom. And then she looked more nervous than her husband. I'd like to know why.
Oh, Casey, you're trying to make something out of such little things.
Parts of the case fit much too smoothly, Annie, as if they'd been oiled by somebody. Oh, well, I can't figure it out. Nuts.
You know, this Gellhorn business is a lot like another murder I read about. It happened over in England.
Yeah, that's Haslington murder. Yeah.
Haslington was the name of the gal who got shot. You know about it, huh?
Yeah, Ethelbert.
Oh, that's a famous old-timer, Ethelbert. Happened before any one of us were born.
It was all news to me when I read it a couple of months ago in a detective magazine. They called it The Case of the Sable Cloak.
The Case of the Sable. Yeah, a detective magazine would. Say, you know, I promised to show you those pictures I took last night that the paper didn't have space for.
Yeah, I'd like to see them.
Here's a print of the Randall living room. This is the bedroom, and here's Mrs. Patch.
And will she be sore because her picture didn't make the paper? Oh, she's the woman who gave us the lead on Gellhorn.
Ain't she a funny-looking old dame? Look at
Yes.
Yeah, she's a dangerous old dame, I tell you. Hey, wait a minute. Give me that picture I took in the bedroom. I noticed it before, but it didn't register. Look at the pillows on the bed.
Well, they're just pillows.
Yeah, but they're on top of the bedspread, uncovered.
I don't see.
Randall's alibi, Annie.
What?
Now, wait a minute. Look at this picture of the living room. The window shades are pulled to within a few inches of the bottom. Now, that narrow space is all Mrs. Patch had to look through when she saw Randall lying on the couch.
What have pillows in the bedroom got to do with...
That's what I'd like to know.
Ethelbert, you say you read about the Haslington murder in a recent magazine. Was the magazine True Murder Chronicles?
Yeah, but it was called
that does
Case of the Sable Cloak. What does it...
You've been a great help to me tonight, and to Ferris Gellhorn.
Aye.
Come on, Annie, we're going to pay another call on Emma Randall's husband.
Well, okay, Casey, but I'd still like to know...
So would I. But what was the... Oh, they always do that to me.
Who's there?
Casey, Mr. Randall, and Miss Williams. May we come in? It's important.
All right, just a minute.
Casey, how would you go about...
We'll soon know, Annie. The door just closed inside there.
So what? I don't know why you haven't told me what you're thinking.
I've been too busy thinking to tell you any... Shh.
Come in.
Thanks, Randall.
Sit down, Miss Williams.
Thank you.
Casey?
I'll rest on my feet.
And
You shouldn't have let your murder partner come here to talk things over, Randall. And you shouldn't have hidden her so clumsily before you let us in.
He knows, Nora. He knows everything.
oh, shut up, Jim. You wouldn't have known anything if you hadn't said that.
Doesn't matter now, does it?
Yes, it does. Don't make a move. Ah! That means you too, Miss Williams.
Is that the gun your boyfriend used to kill his wife?
If it is, you'll never prove it.
Nora, what are you gonna do?
The only thing to do, Jim. Kill these people. They know you killed your wife and that I helped you. They can send us to the chair.
You'll never get away with it.
We'll tell the police that you broke in here and I shot you in self-defense.
Just a second, Mrs. Gellhorn. I want to go on living, and I've arranged things so I will.
Well, how do you mean?
You've forgotten I opened that window.
Window?
Mrs. Patch!
She's been getting an eyeful and an earful.
I'll have you know, Mr. Casey, that I only happened to be at this window by accident.
I believe you, Mrs. Patch. Now, give me that gun, Mrs. Gellhorn.
No! Let go of me!
Thank you. Now, you two smart killers, sit down and wait for the cops. Come on, Randall. Phone headquarters, Annie.
Okay, Casey, after I phone city desk. Oh, but wait a minute. You still haven't told me why those pillows on the top of the bed made you...
We'll go over to the Blue Note, Annie, and I'll tell you all about it.
Oh, all right.
Oh, Mrs. Patch,
Yes?
I guarantee that your picture will be in the Express tomorrow.
Oh, Mr. Casey!
Food supplies still present a picture of confusion. Many of the old established brand names are scarce. Many new names appear on your grocer's shelves. Under the circumstances, how can you be sure of getting the quality you want? May I make this suggestion? First, look for a name you know, and second, and especially when in doubt, buy glass-packed foods, for the glass container in itself is a guarantee of quality. Being transparent, only the best can be packed in glass. Only the best is packed in glass. Anchor glass containers and tamper-proof anchor caps, so widely used for the packaging of better foods, are products of Anchor Hocking. Anchor Hocking, a great name in glass. And now back to Casey and Ann at the Blue Note Cafe.
This, Randall and Miss Gellhorn planned the killing so they could be free to tie up with one another. Huh, Casey?
That's right, Ethelbert. Yeah.
You still haven't told me what they had on Randall when you went to his place, Casey.
I didn't have anything, except that Haslington case you mentioned.
You mean the case of the sable cloak?
Okay, pal, the case of the sable cloak.
I think it's a nice title.
I only had that, a hunch about those bed pillows in the hope that Randall would crack up and make an admission.
Yeah. What was your hunch about them bed pillows?
I figured Randall might have rigged up a dummy that fooled Mrs. Patch.
And
all she really saw were his pants and shirt stuffed with pillows.
And that was all she saw, too, Ethelbert. When Randall came back after the shooting, he got out of his wet clothes, put on the dry ones that had covered the dummy, and tossed the pillows back onto the bed, but a little too carelessly.
What did he do with the clothes he wore out in the rain?
Put them in Gellhorn's apartment. They belonged to Gellhorn. Randall had even worn his things.
Say, he and that Miss Gellhorn thought of almost everything.
Yes, Ethelbert. Almost everything.
You know, Casey, it's like my sister Edna says, quote, anything that's not worth doing It's not worth doing well, unquote.
Crime Photographer is directed by John Dietz and stars Stotts Cotsworth as Casey. It is written by Alonzo Dean Cole and is based on the fictional character of Casey, created by George Hammond Cox. It's lighter, more compact. It requires no deposit, no return to the store. We're talking about that famous Anchor glass beer and ale bottle pioneered by Anchor Hocking. It will shortly be released for civilian use. Watch for it. The new Anchor Glass, one-way, no-deposit bottle, a product of Anchor Hocking. A great name in glass. You've just heard Casey, Crime Photographer, featuring Dave Sanchi as Casey. Reporter Ann Williams was played by Nell Brennan. Andre Dixon portrayed Ethelbert, bartender at the Blue Note. Ida Patch, the nosy neighbor, was played by Ellie Babcock. The not-so-grieving widower, Jim Randall, and also the cab driver were voiced by Jay Summerfield. Hard-boiled Inspector Logan was brought to you by Tom Duggan. Sergeant Coletti was portrayed by Roger Morris. And Sergeant Flanagan by Marty McNulty, who of course also is our resident sound effects wizard. The scheming Nora Gellhorn was Donna Amesmeyer. And I'm Herb Thompson, your announcer, and also Mr. Gellhorn. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with our next show. 2 and 1 is awful.
I'm going to take a little break here between shows. It's a surprise for one of us. How many of you remember the name Billy Mills? A couple hands there. Well, I Googled him and found that Billy Mills was the second Native American to be an Olympic medal winner after Jim Thorpe. However, this is radio. And I was after the orchestra leader Billy Mills, who, with the King's Men, was the music behind almost all of the Fibber, McGee, and Molly shows for many, many years. One of the songs he wrote was a classic tribute to the man who was the creator of the sounds on that show, including McGee's Closet. And we all know what laughs that always brought us. Well, tonight, we'd like to pay a tribute to the man who recreates the sounds on our shows. Without all the extra hours he puts in every month to bring authentic old-time music and sound effects behind the words we read, the Riverside Township radio players wouldn't be here. He's one talented man, grew up after the golden age of radio's heyday. He's a graphic artist, a musician, a dad to 3 lively little boys under the age of 4, and we're awfully glad he found us 3 years ago. He's sitting right over there, and as you know, his name is Marty McNulty. Now, please sit back and let's hear that song that was first played on the Fibber, McGee, and Molly show in 1941, celebrating Billy Mills' 10,000th radio program. It's a classic some of you may remember because it was repeated on a few of the Fibber's later shows. The name of the song, I'm in Love with the Sound Effects Man.
Ladies and gentlemen, in honor of his 10,000th broadcast, the King's Men will sing Billy Mills' new number, I'm in love with the sound effects man.
Oh, what would we do without the sound effects man, that radio racketeer? Tune your dial and listen a while. This is what you'll hear. There's a knock up on the door. That's the sound effects man. Here's a kiss and maybe more. That's the sound effects man. If you'd like a ring, he'll give you a ding ding ding. And even in the early morn, you'll hear him blowing his horn. Cowboy galloping fits the bus. That's the sound effects man. 3 more redskins fight the dust. That's the sound effects man. He has such an awful lot to do, and yet he very seldom ever misses a cue. He's a 3-alarm fire and the fire chief too. There goes the sound effects man. When the wind is howling. That's the sound effects man. Thunder goes a growling. That's the sound effects man. When the battle is raging, he's right in the middle of the fray. When he blows his whistle, time doesn't pay. Then his old Maxwell's chugging right along. That's the sound effects man. When Kay Kaiser gets the answer all wrong, do that. That's the sound effects man. Hear those footsteps making a lot of muddy tracks. Dirty boots will never hurt the kitchen floor if it's covered with Johnson's wax. Railspin Tommy in his aeroplane. That's the sound effects man. When McGee breaks the window pane. That's the sound effects man. He has gadgets by the score, from a peanut whistle to a cannon roar. When paper runs to open that closet door, look out!
Gotta straighten out that closet one of these days.
That's Virgil Reimer, the sound effects man.
Marty, with many thanks from all of us, here's your very own CD of this, plus the little extra to show our appreciation. And one more hand for 2 ladies in the audience here. One is, of course, as you just met, Mrs. McNulty, who launched him in the first place, and we want to thank the mother of those 3 little live wires who will put up with all the hours Marty spends on OTR technology. Our thanks to you, Marianne McNulty, for sharing him with us, too. Okay, Donna, back to our show.
Next up is 2 and 1 is Awful.